Hey, Michael Church, Crawl Space Ninja, and I am here with Dom Zukowski. He is our corporate trainer for Crawl Space Ninja, and he goes out into all of Crawl Space Ninja land and trains owners and teams and all that kind of stuff. And today we got an interesting topic. We're going to talk about what is one of the major upgrades that most homeowners don't think about when installing Crawl Space Vapor Barrier. Stay tuned. So if you're new to Crawl Space Ninja, we talk about everything related to crawl spaces, basements, insulation, things like that. We hope you'll subscribe to our channel, ring that notifications bell, and follow us on Facebook. And just so you know, Dom is a veteran in what branch of the service?
Marines.
Marines. We want to thank you for your service, Dom.
I appreciate the support.
And let's get into it, shall we?
Of course.
Okay, so you've traveled all over the Southeast. Have you been to Delaware yet? Have you been up?
I have not been to Delaware.
Not been to Delaware yet, but you traveled all over, or just about every location. And what is one of the, if not the most overlooked upgrade or thing that a homeowner should install when installing an encapsulation, which would be considered the vapor barrier? What do you think that is?
Honestly, underlayment. I think that's probably the most overlooked thing, just because nobody thinks of the actual ground itself. What I see a lot, mainly here in Tennessee, is a lot of gravel backfilled into the crawl space rather than just leaving the dirt in there. And that gravel just eats up the plastic. When we go in there and we install it, it looks nice, but going in there and servicing the dehumidifier and just looking at everything, making sure everything's fine, just that general traffic, it just eats up the plastic. Right. After spending all that money on a crawl space, nobody wants their vapor barrier ruined.
Right, and when you say general traffic, you're talking about the HVAC contractor that goes in there to maintenance.
Yeah, HVAC,
the plumber,
us coming in for
the pest control. Yeah, us doing the maintenance on the dehumidifier or the sump pump or whatever. And what are some install tips if we've got some DIYers out there, or if we've got some homeowners that are trying to make sure their contractors are installed? Other than putting down the vapor barrier, should you just put it in the high traffic areas? Should you cover the entire ground?
Personally, I prefer to cover the whole crawl space, because you never know what's going to be happening down there. Down the road, you might have like a joist crack or something. You're going to have to get back there and try and fix it, and trying to come back after we've already encapsulated the crawl space, trying to pull that vapor barrier out, put underlayment underneath the plastic, and then put it back down. It's just easier to have it done.
The entire crawl space.
Have the entire crawl space done the first time.
Okay, what are some other tips for installing a vapor barrier that homeowners need to know about? In addition to the underlayment, what are some things that you see our competitors not doing or DIYers not doing that should be done with the plastic itself?
Mainly what I would try to suggest is, for the ground plastic, at least a foot overlap. For the wall plastic, I try to do like a foot, but if I remember right, code requires at least 6 inches for like the wall vapor barrier.
Right.
Just kind of taking your time for the wall plastic. If you're trying to do by yourself for a DIY and you want to install the vapor barrier, just cleaning off the wall and adhering the butyl tape to where it tries to help you out, so it'll actually stick it up to that 3-inch termite gap. What
do you use to clean you're talking about the block wall or the concrete wall? What are you using to clean that?
Depending on the size of the crawl space, I will try to use a wire brush, just trying to get that loose mortar and dust and all that other craziness off the wall. And then if I have the space and time allows it, I'll try to use an actual like shop vac, trying to get as much dust and debris off the wall as possible, so the butyl tape will actually stick to the wall. That's the main thing.
Okay.
Tape doesn't stick to dust.
No, it doesn't stick to dust. And you mentioned two things that I want to clarify. Number one, you were talking about plastic up the wall. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have an overlap this direction, mm-hmm, where you're running plastic that way and you have an overlap, but you also have a minimum that you're supposed to come up the wall. Now, we always go 3 inches to 6 inches from the sill plate. Code does not require that you have to go that high. Code requires that you go a minimum of 12 inches up the wall. That's it. The reason why we go all the way up to the termite gap of the sill plate is if we're taking on potentially moisture from the outside. Because if you only go that minimum that code requires, and then you're taking on water above that plastic, it's going to get on top of the plastic, right?
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why we talk about the termite gap. Just keep that in mind. Code requirement is down here, 12 inches from the ground, mechanically fastened as well. That's not something that we talked about. We don't like butyl tape only. We don't like adhesives only.
Yeah, no.
You don't, there is not a tape out there that'll last you taping on the wall. We want to use the Hilti GX3, right? Which they can rent on the DIY store to mechanically fasten that. What about the pillars? You think pillars are important? You think you should wrap them and all that, or just leave them alone?
Of course. I don't think a lot of people think about that, just for the sheer fact of, even if you try to cut the plastic around it, water can still come up around the pillars. So that's actually why we attach plastic on the pillars, and then we have the 6 inches to a foot of overlap around the pillars itself, to where it tries to keep as much of that vapors underneath the vapor barrier as much as possible.
So give us the order of install and we'll wrap it up. So first thing goes down felt.
Yep, do felt, and then we'll generally install the wall vapor barrier. Then we'll do the floor vapor barrier, and then install pillars last.
Okay, very good. Well, Dom, appreciate you coming in.
Of course.
Talking to our viewers out there. If you got a question for Dom, we hope you'll make a comment down below and let us know what you think. I'm Michael Church with Dom Zakowski.
Yep.
Got it right. Crawl Space Ninja, we hope you make it a happy and blessed day, and we'll see you later.